high. Yep, sign said 14. That's what I'm at, 14. Outside lane is 14, okay. I'm actually 13 and 10 and a half. So, I hammered down yesterday. Took my bare minimum legally necessary brakes and just kept going and got to the loading spot at 2:20 and they loaded me. So happy. So I got the Tacoma unload. That's where we're now. We're in Tacoma. I went all the way down to west of Eugene, Oregon. Then we loaded in Eugene, and I got just about to Tacoma and pulled over at the scale and slept there. So we have enough time to make it home today. Yes! Get a full Saturday, Sunday off, and part of Monday morning off, because this load gets delivered on Tuesday morning. I think it's about 6-7 hours away from home, so not a full day of running on Monday. And not actually is because I'm 14 feet tall. Well, I'm not 14, like I said, 13, 10, 5. Who's honking and why? See any kind of strap loose. I don't see any kind of a flat tire. Toolboxes are closed. Lights are on. Not sure why someone would be honking. Might be somebody honking at somebody else, something I didn't see. But dispatch routing is for me to take I-5 and then 14 along the Columbia River and then 97 north to home. But I'm taking I-5 to I-90, I-90 to 97, 97 north to home. Why? Because 14 has bridges that are 11 feet 9 inches. Technically the signs say that it's a little bit more than that because my smokestack is higher than that and I still take that road. I'm 12, just over 12 feet my smokestacks. I still take the road that says 11 feet 9 inch road, or 9 inches, because it's at the edge of the tunnel that it is that height. But with my load being almost 14 feet, I would chop the top of the load off. So I informed dispatch I would not be taking that route. I would be taking this alternate route, which is almost the same time if it wasn't for Tacoma and Seattle traffic. If it was not for this traffic jam here, it would be almost exactly the same timing. And it's not a traffic jam here at all yet. But it's 7:30 in the morning. So I'm hoping to get past most of this traffic before the actual traffic jam starts. speed ahead. Okay. What speed? I'm not going to reduce speed yet. I don't see a speed limit sign. There we go. What it says, 55 maybe, that's where we're headed, 55, no, it says 50? Yeah, 50. Okay, gotta slow down a little more. There we go. I forgot to bring a water up front, darn it. Okay, there's a scale in. So I slept at a scale, and there's another scale in 7 miles. Well, I'm going to pull in there and get myself some waters. Then again, maybe after I'm through Seattle. Yeah, I'm going to wait through them. There we go. We have run into a traffic jam. Looks like we're coming to a stop. I see is a truck.
Construction was reported on I-5.
You think? Carmen? You think? Construction's still 7.5 miles away, so there might be lots of traffic jam. I can't hear what he's saying. So all of this just because of blinky lights? Come to almost a stop just because there's blinkies. Oh boy. I mean, construction slowed us down too, but brakes are a little aggressive to load this light. It's a really light load. I'm basically hauling culverts. The road again. Beautiful sunrise. These lanes are narrow. Holy smokes. sign, don't hit the rig beside me. And that dude in front of me is smoking like crazy. Did he just start smoking? Because I don't recall seeing him smoking earlier. Not the curtain side in front of us, or beside us, the one further up ahead. Visor down. That's such a beautiful sunrise when it's shining straight into your eyes. Glasses out. Excuse me. A frog in my throat. Someone might ask, why am I going to this lane? Where the best lane is to run one of the center lanes. That way we don't have to deal with all the merging traffic coming onto the road and exiting the road. The answer is in 2 miles from now. Planning ahead. If there's a good nice space to merge into this lane, I'll do it. Looks like the new bridge is well on its way, a new overpass. Not sure if it's replacing this one or not. There we go, there you still saw that sign? Trucks use right lane. closed too. I can just smell the smoke. Look at the smoke coming off of this thing. He is burning oil. I can smell the burnt oil. Holy. Is that maybe why I had the frog? Because I can smell it further away. Holy. Get a number on me.
Washington 18 East.
The guy flashed his lights telling me it was okay for me to merge back in front of him, the curtain side, but I'm turning off. That I turned off before. Oil burning guy. I don't want to follow him down this highway. Behind that guy. Holy smokes. Literally smokes. Okay, we're bypassing Seattle and taking Highway 18. Bad at all for traffic through Tacoma, so Highway 18 is going to be pretty full, but I think we're pretty much in the clear. There's construction this way, but I think we're going to keep moving, so cool. Car. That cop should jump in, chase you down. I always dislike when people cut me off like that. I'm like, I left that much space in front of me in that truck on purpose. I'll probably regret going back into this lane, but there's cars behind me. Yep, I'm regretting it. Turn on the signal light to motivate that car to pass me quicker. Sunglasses back out. Quite a bit slower than me. Got the space, move over. I got a lot closer than I wanted. Back into the mountains. Keep dealing with this traffic, and I'll catch up with you guys down the road. Alright guys, I'm just using the internal microphone here, but How many of you guys, when I said we were 13 feet and 10.5 inches, did the math and go, but Trucker Juan, just because you can go 14 feet tall in the US doesn't mean you can go 14 feet tall in Canada. Yeah, I didn't realize that till just now. I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. So I loosened the straps and then the whole load shifted over. You can see the top 2x4 sticking over. I've taken straps from that side and gone through and over and pulling it that way, pulling it back. So I've got it pulled back to the center, but I measured again. The trailer is 149 centimeters and the load is 270 centimeters. That makes it 419 centimeters. In Canada, we are allowed to go 415 centimeters or 4.15 meters. So I'm 4 centimeters over. But I'm going to take the dunnage out of that top and let that culvert slide into the hollow, and that will give me my centimeters that I need. So now I'm going to throw straps over the bottom 3 layers. There's a metal strapping here that'll hold it all together. But I'll throw straps over the bottom 3 layers, tighten the bottom 3 layers, loosen the top straps. I've already taken some straps off, 1 strap off. Trying to shift the whole thing back. And then I'm gonna remove the 2x4s out of that top load. I've got my saw here, a very rusty saw, and cut that 2x4 off already because that one was sticking out as well, and I don't think I want to dig that 2x4 out. So now I'm going to loosen those straps. Actually, I'm going to throw 1 more strap over the bottom 3 here. I'm going to take that strap off, make it the bottom 3, and then loosen it off. That way the top 2 culverts will be completely loose except for this band. I'll keep one of the straps just loose, just as loose as these bands. I'll keep the top straps that way too, just to make sure the load stays on the deck, and then I'll try to shift everything over. We'll see how that goes. Trying to wait for a clear window, but there's just way too much traffic. So I've strapped, the front and back strap are just the bottom 2. That's loud out here. Here's the extra dunnage. I pulled out the measuring tape. And I am 4 meters and 15 centimeters, dead on. I threw some extra straps because the whole thing is kind of shifting on me. But we're good to roll. I have no idea how long that took. But yeah, that was a dumb mistake. Might be legal in the US, but I'm not legal in Canada. You can kind of see how that big one is now sitting in between them. Settled right in. me up my gloves, and then we'll get rolling. All right. I don't know how much you guys could hear while I was walking around outside, so just in case you couldn't hear any of that, I'll explain what I was doing. I made the realization I did something really stupid. I loaded the load to be legal in the US. Unfortunately, that does not mean Canada has the same laws. 14 feet is legal in the US. But in Canada, it is 4.15 meters is legal, which ends up being 13 feet, 7.5 inches. So I said I was 13, 10.5. I was 3 inches over height for Canadian load. Made that realization. I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to pull over somewhere and pull dunnage out and lower it. I'm like, I'll do that when I get close to the border. But my load had other plans. All of a sudden it decided to shift over towards the passenger side. The whole load all of a sudden just shifted, and then the back strap, you can see it flapping in the wind. I'm like, whole load is shifted, and now the load has gotten loose. My straps are not as tight as they were, and one of them is all the way loose. So I pulled over right away, wide part of the shoulder, and looked at the load. So what I did was I threw 2 straps from the driver's side, kind of in the center of the load, and wrapped it back to the driver's side, so it was anchored on the driver's side, and I was tightening it on the driver's side, pulling it toward the driver's side. So the whole load is now being pulled toward the driver's side. Then I went and released all the straps that were holding down the load. Not all the way loose, just loosened them. Because the last thing I need is this whole load to shift and roll off the deck. At no point did I have less than 2 straps at least loosely holding the load. I'm like, that makes the problem even worse. If I did that, the whole thing rolls off the deck. And then loosened them all, and then kept snugging the 2 straps toward the driver's side until the whole load shifted back over to the center. And then I tightened, strapped down the bottom 2 layer of culverts. This is truck lane here, huh? Yeah, regret, instant regret. I see 4-way flashers up there. So I strapped down the bottom 2 layers really nice and tight, and then kept the 3 straps loose on top. And then I went and stood on the deck, shimmied my way along the center of the deck, always doing 3-point contact, staying on the deck. I didn't climb the load, I just stayed on the deck, because I'm like, if I climb the load, everything is round on this thing. Chances of shifting and me sliding off are way too high to even think of crawling up that load. So I shimmied to the one side, hammered in some small pieces of dunnage and some pieces of wood. Well, first, the end, there's 3 pieces of dunnage. The end ones were easy to take off. I just took my pry bar, pried it, pulled it right out. The dunnage came right out on the end. But in the center, it was so hard getting the center one out. It took me 2 hours. And most of the time was spent on the center piece of dunnage. I went on the driver's side, wedged in some short pieces of wood and dunnage. Short pieces because that I can easily hammer back out to take the pressure off of the 2x4 that's going through the full length. And then I went to the driver's side and hammered in dunnage over there, which was difficult. That was the bigger one. But I eventually got it to the point where I could shimmy that piece of dunnage out. And then I had to try to get the small pieces of dunnage out, which took a lot of hammering. But eventually I got it all out. No, that's not true. I didn't get all of it out. The one on the driver's side, that's snugged in there so tight. I'm like, well, it's on the smaller culverts, so it's not a height issue there. So I just strapped it down nice and tight again. It's not going to move anywhere. And then on the passenger side, I got the dunnage out, got all the little pieces out, and the big culvert dropped right between the 2 culverts. I went and measured, and guess what? I'm legal. I am dead on the, well, half a centimeter below legal Canadian load. So I am 4 meters, 14.5 centimeters. It took 2 hours, but I am now also Canada legal. Dumb mistake, but thank goodness it's a type of load that I could alter and change. So the extra 3 pieces of dunnage, I just put it on behind the load and strapped it down. All right, top of the Snoqualmie. I think I pronounced that right for once. I-90, by the way. I-90 Snoqualmie. So that was a good workout. If I had been smarter, I would have realized that I can't load to Canadian or U.S. legal height. I went off my cheat sheet and went, feet, yeah, 14 feet, yeah, we're good. So I'm going to go change my cheat sheet to say 13 feet, 7.5 inches for U.S. legal loads, because I know all my loads are coming back into Canada, so I know I have to meet that parameter. So I'm going to change that cheat sheet when I log on to that laptop later today. Prevent me from looking at my cheat sheet and go, yep, we're legal, we're good. Thank goodness yesterday I asked them to remove the dunnage on the bottom of the culverts. I'm like, it's a little bit too close. I would prefer the bottom dunnage, the product just to sit on the deck with no dunnage under it. So they had no problem doing that for me. If I had not done that, it would be nearly impossible for me to make this load legal by hand along on the side of the road. But as you guys can see, it's a super light load, just mostly hauling air. Just half a load of culvert basically. No, I don't need it. Okay, I'm like, I see safety cones, triangles. We're good, we're good. I'm tired. I was not expecting to shoot another video over here, but that was exciting enough to talk about right away. So yeah, it's a stupid mistake, but it was one that I can fix. It'd be worse if it was one that I couldn't fix. I'd have to bother dispatch and ask for help with a forklift somewhere. I'd have to lift stuff up and move dunnage. But luckily, I can fix it on the side of the road. Safely, I can safely fix it on the side of the road. And continue on our merry way. Man, this lake is low. Super low. It's a man-made lake. It's dammed off for irrigation purposes. The boat ramp way out here goes into nothingness. Just goes into trees. Stumps, tree stumps, I mean. It's got to be a solid 150 maybe? 150, 200 feet below its maximum level. Maybe even more than that. Kind of hard. Thinking the length of the semi-truck, yeah, 100, 150-ish, pretty good guess. Alright, cars. Looks like I'm going to get wedged in between you. That's the nice thing about the speed limit being higher for cars. At least they're not holding me up, but this one seems to be holding me up. So I think I'm not going to fuel up in the US. Half an hour is the last fuel stop I have here that I can rely on. And we are 5.5 hours from home. I think I have 6 hours of drive time left. On fuel. 6 hours of fuel left. Having said that, there's a fuel station in Osoyoos, and that's an hour away from home. So I only need to make it another 4.5 hours. 4.5 hours from now I can fuel up, and I think I have 6 hours worth of fuel. I think we'll just wait till we cross back into Canada and fuel up. This load's so light, I'm burning no fuel. Very little fuel. Okay, a lot less fuel. I think I will break my record on the distance I've driven in the US without fueling up. So I fueled up in Grand Forks, drove to Osoyoos, and we took 97 down to I-90, to Tacoma, all the way down to Eugene, and then east, half an hour east of there, to whatever town that was. And then returning the trip exactly the same way, and I think I'll make it back to Canada without fueling up. Don't know how many miles that is, but that's definitely a record for me. that car? And my lane ends. I should have just stayed in that lane. To talk to either Oregon scale or a Washington scale to ask about my legal the numbers I've written down from our research Jess and I have done. I wanted to go in and confirm numbers, but yesterday I had the time and not a single scale was open yesterday where I could go in and ask someone. So today we have a couple of scales that we have to go by, but they're rarely, any of the rest of the scales are rarely ever open. So if I see one that's open, I'm definitely going to stop and talk to the Washington DOT, but unlikely when I get any more info. That's okay. We got lots of chances still. Whenever I'm finding conflicting information online, I'm choosing the lesser number. I'm like, okay, this number says I can only put this much weight on my tag axle. Okay, that's how much weight I'll put on, even though the other one says I can do more. Go with a lower number until I have confirmed it with DOT. Call it. It's been a fun week. Little additional exercise I wasn't intending on doing, but I can still get home today. I basically used up a lot of my hours there, standing there, working there on the load, but I'll still make it home probably around 5 p.m. or so, I'll be home 2 hours later than planned, but, well, hour and a half later, because I would have legally needed to take a half hour on duty or off duty somewhere before I got to the border, but I'll make another stop here down the road here soon and just check all my straps again. But the funny thing is, I was checking my straps yesterday and everything was fine. But when that shift happened, all of a sudden everything was loose instantly. It was so nice and tight, all of a sudden just like a switch flicked and all of a sudden everything's loose. Must have hit a bump just right. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Drop in those comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today. It was definitely not a boring day today, that's for sure. to get my paperwork still. Hopefully my dispatch emails it to me soon. And I will see you guys on Monday.